for the court's asking me to violate the privilege, I think, when the court says, tell me what your opinion was on something.
I don't think I'm asking you to violate anything because, first of all, I don't think a joint litigation agreement can protect you from your obligation of candor to the court. I also don't think it can inhibit the court from getting to the bottom of a discovery abuse and who participated in it and who authorized it. So, again, unless the lawyers want to tell me that they didn't participate and didn't agree that this subpoena should be issued, I'm going to assume everybody did. I don't see any distinction between what the lawyer culprit cases that you've tried to distinguish in this. This subpoena was issued by a lawyer for the benefit of at least one client, but it appears to me that it was issued for the benefit of all of the parties to this joint agreement. I think you're all subject to sanctions.
May I be heard when...
Ms. Layton, you have a lawyer, so...
yeah, but on behalf of my clients, I will want to speak.
Mr. Bivens is your lawyer, so that's my position.
Since I didn't know the court's reasoning until today, would the court give me and my firm an opportunity to brief this? Because
actually I didn't know about this joint litigation agreement until yesterday. So again, I've given everybody an opportunity to tell me why they shouldn't be sanctioned. So if you don't want to add anything else, you may sit down. Mr. Murphy, did you want to add anything to this discussion?
I have nothing to add, Your Honor.
Mr. Bivens?
Mr. Shumway, I think, and Ms. Slayton would like to address the court. And I wondered, did we lose the Siegelbaum issue here somewhere? Do you want to hear anything about that?
No.
Okay. Then I will ask my clients if they wish to say anything to the court.
I do, Your Honor. First of all, I assume I'll have an opportunity, with all due respect, Your Honor, to speak on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Lund, because whatever happens today, I just want to put on the record, affects my clients as well. So first I'll speak for myself, and then I will speak for my clients, because I have this feeling that I am in a sentencing hearing. I am being sentenced. I am being sentenced as a lawyer. This is my opportunity to present my address to the court. Okay, I have been a criminal defense attorney in my past, and I have said to my client, do you have anything to say to the court, or the court has asked my client before they're sent off to jail. So I want to speak, because I believe in my 30 years of practice in the United States of America, I have never seen personally, I mean, I've seen it on television, I've read books, but I have never been so personally outraged in my life in a courtroom. That every single constitutional right in one fell swoop has been violated today. On behalf of myself and my clients, I have been chilled. I stood at that table, and I want the appellate record to show this when I take this up on special action, that I stood there, and I will readily admit, and I'm even upset now, that I was shaken. I was intimidated. And for a moment, I was chilled. But I'm not chilled now, because I know that I have to speak out. And when Martin Luther King was behind bars, I read his journals, and I read what he said. And he said he was proud to be behind bars. And my colleague is sitting over there in pink handcuffs, one of the finest lawyers in the state of Arizona, Your Honor. Absolutely a brilliant lawyer. And he is ethical, and he is honorable, and he is not corrupt. And I have tried cases with him. And this is outrageous. This is one of those outrageous moments in my career that I have no fear. And if you want to put me in handcuffs, you put me in handcuffs, Your Honor, because I am personally offended that this is a courtroom in the United States of America. I am personally offended. And so I am not going to apologize. I stand behind the very, very sacrosanct lawyer-client privilege that I learned in law school. I was a hearing officer for the Arizona Supreme Court for 9 years, and I learned those rules of ethics, and I went to the trainings. And when a client would when a lawyer would violate the lawyer-client privilege, it was my job to discipline them. And so I know them well. And I am not going to stand up here and for 1 minute even remotely say that I would violate the lawyer-client privilege. And all I will do is say that I was in those discussions. And I will not say anything more. And this court has no right to presume that I either approve or I didn't disapprove of it. This is tyranny, what's happening today. This is not law and order. This is tyranny. I am being terrorized right now. And I am not going to be terrorized by a court. And so if you want to hold me in contempt, if you want to put me in cuffs, I wish it would be me in cuffs. Mr. Sandus doesn't belong in cuffs. He does not belong in cuffs. He's doing his job as a lawyer, and I am proud of him. And I am proud of every lawyer in this courtroom that stood up today and said, no, put me in jail, but no. And even Mr. Borges, he flew all the way over here from California. And he comes from a big firm, and he has people to answer to. But you know what? He said no. That privilege, that precious privilege is more important than me going to jail. And it was hard for him to do. So he has people to answer to. I don't. But I have my clients to answer to. And I'm proud of my clients. And the other thing I want to put on the record regarding Mr. and Mrs. Lund, Your Honor, is that this court commented on the fact that they went to the newspapers or that they spoke to the newspapers. Hello, there is something called the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. This court shouldn't be, with all due respect, this court shouldn't be penalizing anybody for talking to a newspaper or for being in a newspaper. No, that's wrong. There's the First Amendment. They have a right to do that, and that's different than being in this court. There was no gag order in place, so that is wrong, and I want to put on the record that that was a constitutional violation. And I also want to put on the record, yes, these joint agreements happen all the time, and opposing counsel had one too, with all of the lawyers and the parties, I believe, in California, and decisions were made. And so you can't penalize us, Your Honor, for just saying we were in a discussion. You don't know what view we had. And there was no evidentiary hearing, and there was no notice that we were going to be put under oath. We came here today to show cause why it shouldn't happen. That's all we were here for. So I just want to say that I believe that every known constitutional right that I can think of, the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, they were all violated. All due process went out the window today. And that's what I witnessed. That's what I witnessed in my lifetime as a lawyer in Arizona, in probate court. That's what I witnessed. And so I want to just put that on the record. And if the court wants to put me in chains, call the sheriff and put me in chains. I'll go, if that's what the court wants to do. Because I am outraged. I was outraged when constitutional abuses were being heaped upon everybody by another outrageous prosecutor that's no longer in power. But you know what? I'm just as outraged today. This can't be the way our courts are. And that's what I have to say.
Mr. Shumway, did you want to say anything today?
May I please, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll try not to be repetitive. There are a couple of issues that I could use some guidance on that I would like to address. You mentioned the issue of delay, Your Honor. I want to talk specifically about this issue of documents not going to Mr. Siegelbaum, that Mr. Siegelbaum asked to be able to come to the House and review. I don't remember the timeline. Some months ago, a request was made to Sabrina. Sabrina responded to the request, and the request was, Sabrina, I want to interview you. I'd like you to have Brad's checkbooks there or his check registers and to go through that. Sabrina responded through her counsel. I saw the email. The response was, Mr. Siegelbaum, they're Brad's check registers. You ought to contact Mr. Shumway. Frankly, Your Honor, I was never contacted. I forgot about it. I just let it fall through the cracks. But I was never contacted by Mr. Siegelbaum to arrange that meeting. It's my understanding, although, Your Honor, I have not seen it. Let me be clear, I haven't seen it. It's my understanding that an email was sent to Mr. Siegelbaum by Sabrina offering some dates that he could come over and talk to Sabrina. But I wasn't privy to that email. On Monday, Your Honor, I am concerned about complying with court orders. I sent the email that was read to you earlier by Mr. Sanas asking Mr. Siegelbaum, is there anything outstanding? Because it's been my impression, Your Honor, that everything that was asked for to be provided to Mr. Siegelbaum was provided last January or February, that he's had it in his possession for months. That was the whole dispute over whether or not we turned it over to Mr. Murphy and his clients. So I followed up after our meeting on Monday with that email. He got back to me and pointed out that he had not yet reviewed Brad's bank ledgers. I invited him over. I said, I'll set up a meeting for this afternoon so that we can comply with the court order. He wrote back and said, I'm visiting the doctor. I may have to have knee surgery. I can't do it today. And, Your Honor, I'm happy to print these off and provide them to you. I didn't realize there would be.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, I appreciate that. He said, I'm not able to do it today. I'll call you tomorrow and I'll set something up. I didn't receive a call, Your Honor. To be honest, I've been somewhat distracted by other things, and I haven't called Mr. Siegelbaum back. I guess I feel like I'm in the kind of in the trap. The last time Mr. Siegelbaum was told, call Mr. Shumway, I never got a call and I didn't call. If the court expects me to follow up with Mr. Siegelbaum and to say to him, you said you were going to call, you didn't call, I'm calling you, I'm happy to do that. I just don't want to be in the situation where I leave Mr. Siegelbaum to do what I perceive to be his job. If you expect me to not do that, if you expect me to follow up with him, I'm happy to follow up with him. If you don't, frankly, Your Honor, I'm busy, I get distracted on other things, I'm highly likely to not call him, not out of a delay tactic, Your Honor, it's just I have a life. Please let me know what your expectation is, and I'll try to live up to it.
My expectation is to get this evaluation done, and in order to do that, Mr. Siegelbaum says he wants to interview Mr. Lund and Ms. Lovejoy and look at the check registers, and I expect that to be done. So if it takes you to call Mr. Siegelbaum and arrange an appointment for that to happen, make the phone call.
I'm happy to do it. It slipped my mind yesterday. I'm just telling you, reporting back to you, I did not receive a call from him. I am happy to call him, and however long it takes, however often, to get him to do that.
Well, he as far as scheduling, he gave me, I can find it here, he gave me a date on which he could do this. And if, unless you want to arrange some alternative, I'm just going to order that it occur.
Okay, please tell me a date, because he has not told me that date. And that's part of the problem here, Your Honor. I haven't been told the date. He has my email address, he has my phone. It's not a big deal to me. If he had written back to me and said, this is the date I'm available, I would check with my client, I'd find out if it worked, and I'll let him know promptly. I feel like there's a lot of stress or something that really a couple of emails will solve.
I don't even know about email. It could have been a
or phone call.
Phone call. You're right.
I'm happy with that. So if you want to share with me the date, I'm happy to try to make it happen. I assume the nodding means I'll share it with you at the end when I issue my order.
Yeah, because I want to make sure it happens.
Yeah, I'm content, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'd like to hit just two other things on something that you said. You said that, you know, one of your concerns is that the subpoena was issued for the benefit of everybody who's part of the common interest agreement that I happen to be a signatory to. I guess in some sense